Hello and welcome to another brand new edition of Security Scan. I am Tina Jha. On the show today, we are going to talk about the drop in India's arms imports. According to a report released by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute earlier this week, India's arms imports fell 33% between 2011 to 2015 and between 2016 to 2020. India accounted for 9.5% of the total global arms imports during 2016 to 2020. And the country's top three arms suppliers during this period were Russia, France, and Israel, followed by the United States in the fourth place. The report said, although Russia was the most affected supplier, India's arms imports from the US also fell by 46%. So what are the reasons that the report has attributed to the fall in Indian arms imports and what it means for India's defense sector is what we will analyze on the program today. And joining me for this are two eminent panelists. Let me introduce them to you. We have with us on the show today Mr. Gulshan Luthra. He is Member, Executive Council, IDSA, and Dr. Mayank Dwivedi, Scientist G and Director of the Directorate of Industry, Interface and Technology Management, DRDO. Thank you to both my guests for joining me on the program today. Mr. Luthra, let me begin the discussion with you. First of all, let's take your views on the CPRI report that says there's been a 33% drop in Indian arms imports. And do you think it is indicative of the massive indigenization push that we have seen in recent years?
Yes, indeed. First of all, I must say congratulations to both the Indian Armed Forces and our domestic industry. And certainly DRDO, which has been innovating many capabilities indigenously. The report from CPRI is very, very encouraging. I'll put one line as kind of a theme. No country can fight a war without indigenous production.
Yes.
Now, this idea has actually always been there, but the kind of emphasis which is happening now was probably never there earlier. And I would say, like in defense imports now, there are many aircrafts, for instance, some of which we already have imported. One part that is over. Then India itself is making Tejas, on which probably Dr. Dwivedi can mention much more. And in fact, I would like to leave the floor to him to make an opening on what kind of items which are there, which have been whose import has been cut down. Actually,
sure. Dr.
May I pass the mic to him?
Yes, Dr. Dwivedi. So let me come to you. And apart from answering what Dr. Luthra wants you to, let me also ask one question that I want you to shed light upon is, of course, our focus has been on becoming Atmanirbhar in recent years. But towards becoming self-reliant, what have been the efforts that have been undertaken towards reducing dependence on the imports and strengthening our domestic defense manufacturing?
Thank you, ma'am. As a matter of fact, whenever we talk about the self-reliant India and Atmanirbhar Bharat, basically everything starts from the will of the government. And what we see today, the type of conducive policies the government of India has brought in, let it be right from the beginning of the Startup India, Digital India, the pushing MSMEs, providing them soft loans, Mudra Bank, so many things when we talk about. Then these were the clear signals that yes, the government, the country is very serious about making India a manufacturing hub. That's why the Make in India thing started by our Honorable Prime Minister long back. Once the government organizations like DRDO, when we see that the emphasis is towards that, we also make our policies in such a way, we dovetail so that the industries also come up using the soothing policies so that they become very important player in Atmanirbhar Bharat. See, let me tell you, the industry together, they are complementing each other. The DRDO is the R&D organization, but whatever the R&D product DRDO develops, finally it goes to the user through the industry because they are the production agencies. So that's how they are very important partners. and they are playing very close role with DRDO for manufacturing of those quality systems which are being used by the armed forces. Here, very important thing I will add. The industries are associated with DRDO as development partner right from the inception of the projects. And that's what has happened. During this entire development process, the industries have gained confidence and they have developed their capabilities, not only in high technology areas along with DRDO, rather they have become so capable and competent today in India that they are playing a major role in global supply chain.
Yes.
Today, I can proudly say that many of the industries, if I tell you the right number, including MSMEs, more than 2,000 industries in India, they are playing very important role in global supply chain. And that's how our export is also being increased and our import is getting reduced. Today, you see the situation has come, the big major players, the Indian industries, they are able to make able to do the entire manufacturing of guns, like take the example of Bharat 4. Similarly, you take the example of L&T, they are making with us Pinaka system. You take the example of BDL, BEL, all the quality radar system is being done by the Bharat Electronics Limited. You talk about the missile system is being done by the BDL. And not only this, I will give you one example like ATAX, artillery gun system, advanced towed artillery gun system. In ATAX, though there are two major partners who are the lead system integrator, one is Massive Bharat Forge, Pune, and second is Tata's. But there are 464 industries in the supply chain which are supplying various components and the products, because DRDO, when it works, that the complete ecosystem is developed of the industries, and their ecosystem is not only for these attacks. Once the capabilities have been generated with the industry, their capability is going to be utilized for making various other products. That's how the defense manufacture sector is growing up. And
Okay.
in DRDO, we have made the policies like we have made the TOT policy for the development partners and development come production partners free of cost technology transfer we do. We have opened all our test facilities. They can come and get it tested at no profit, no loss basis. We have opened all our patents for free use, that industry can come and use DRDO patent and make use of it free of cost. And whatever product they develop out of it, that product will be complete marketing right will be theirs.
Okay.
Similarly, to inculcate R&D culture, we have started a TDF scheme where in Technology Development Fund, we are providing up to 10 crores finance to the industries. So that's how there are so many things we have opened up. Even rather, we have many a time we find that industries are not having the enough R&D support system with them. We have opened up that if industry wants to get particular R&D done, then they can approach DRDO and we will provide them complete technological and scientific support, and we will provide them the complete technology and they can use it for their purposes.
Okay.
Again,
Okay.
at now profit no loss
Mr.
basis.
Luthra, so
all these, all these things,
what Dr. Dwivedi suggests, Mr. Luthra, coming back to you, what Dr. Dwivedi suggests is that there has been a lot of confidence building measures in the recent past, efforts to boost the capability of our domestic manufacturers. But another factor that's been attributed in the CPRI report to the fall in arms imports is a complex and lengthy procurement process. So, what is the complexity in the procurement procedure, and over the years, why we've not been able to simplify it?
First of all, let me have a correction. I'm not a doctor. I haven't done PhD, and I'm a journalist. I also edit India's Strategic magazine. Our procedures actually have always been complex. Lengthy is one thing. In between, there was unfortunately a culture of allegations. So as soon as the armed forces decide something, someone says, "Paisa khaya hai," usme bhi problem aa jati thi. The government over the years has been trying to simplify, and at the moment now, of course, say the army, navy, air force, their vice chiefs themselves have been given a lot of power to acquire systems immediately. That is the if you simplify the procedures, it does become better. Now, if you want to encourage the private industry, You have to simplify. And like DRDO said, that they have been sharing technology. Actually, they've been doing it for quite some time. If we look at, they had a system called Pinaka multi-barrel launcher, which was developed before the Kargil War and tried extensively, successfully during the Kargil War. I think besides the Bofors, which is given a lot of credit for, it was Pinaka MBRL, which was largely successful in decimating the Pakistani position. Am I right, Dr. Dwivedi, on that?
Yes, sir. Absolutely right, sir.
Yeah. So, like that, we have been sharing gradually, but the kind of emphasis now in simplicity. When we look for multinational tenders, technology does lie with foreign companies. We haven't had it. Let's be honest about it. That's why we ask foreign companies to come in, foreign OEMs to come in, like say Boeing has come in, General Atomics is coming, Lockheed Martin has come in, Rafale International, which is giving us the Rafale aircraft, that is coming in. Now, along with that, we have a very good policy now. It's called offsets, whatever we call it. But every company, every foreign OEM, when it comes to India, it has to share some part of the technology and also buy something from India. That is one of the big factors, I think, in giving boost to the Indian industry. And it is not just one company. Assuming a simple system was to be acquired from India in return for buying something from a different company, we, the one Indian entity which will be integrating it is actually will be integrating it many small suppliers. I was recently in Abu Dhabi for their exhibition called IDEX. Now, Abu Dhabi does make, UAE does make a rifle called Caracal, for which they have competed in India. Now, they still, there is no deal as yet, but I was quite surprised when the chairman of the Caracal told me, he said that we are already manufacturing 60 components of the rifle in India. We have started, I mean, they have given the contract to India. They know it, they can't sell the weapon here without doing something indigenous. So that is how you are going to develop your industry. The simplification in the procedures has been happening over the past few years, and it is now very rapid. That is why I suppose we are going very fast forward. And DRDO, as I said, is already sharing technology. Pinaka was one example, which was only developed by DRDO, but was made by two or three companies. Tata's is one, I think. Other company, I'm missing on that. Dr. Dwivedi can mention that.
Yes, sir.
So I think the
DL,
simplification of
DL,
rules. Sorry,
Okay,
Dee?
okay. Okay, Dr.
yes, sir.
Dwivedi.
Other 2-3 companies are there also.
Yeah.
One company.
But there's, if we have the intent to make it in India, we have to simplify the procedure. And I think the government, politically and the bureaucratically, they are working on it, and they've been working it quite nicely on it.
Okay, Dr. Dwivedi, so it's important to simplify the procedure, but if you have to talk about areas that still require to be worked upon, that require special focus to strengthen the domestic manufacturing, what it would be?
Ma'am, very rightly you have told that procedures have already been simplified a lot, because if you see the DAP 2020 for the procurement procedure, it has simplified and it has made many things so simple. Earlier, so many the routes were there, they have been reduced. But still, yes, as Mr. Gulshan was telling, still it takes time, because even after reduction also, it has not come down to a very fast, rapid thing, except G2G contracts are there, where it is very fast. But whenever we are going for the global tendering, there it takes time. Number two, I will also tell what Mr. Luthra was telling, that this offset is a very important thing which we should leverage. And now there is a one new thing has come in the offset, where we can take the technology transfer in the offset also. And DRDO is also in the process of acquisition of certain technologies which are going to enhance our performance in various technology areas. But when it comes to further simplifying the processes, we are continuously doing that. Even if I talk about the Ministry of Defense and the DRDO, we have made the processes so simple that today that the bank guarantee and many other performance guarantee, etc., they have been reduced, they have been finished, rather, they are abolished. And now we have made the companies and the industries to come to DRDO, Ministry of Defense, and they can take the order, etc., in much easier way. Like I can give you the example. Suppose we do the technology transfer to a startup. For technology transfer, we require a lot of infrastructure to be available within the industry. But for the startup and MSMEs, we see that if they have got the zeal to do it and they have got the enough financial support, etc., to carry out the defense products, we try to promote them and we try to give the technology transfer to them, even to the startups also. So these are the changes in the thinking and the mindset of the government is there. And that's why we government officials, we ensure that the industry should be supported aptly and we should reduce the procedures and procedural burden so that industry feels much easier. We have made many systems, many things to online so that they feel much more comfortable. Even rather COVID times have taught us further that online many things can happen. And this has really helped. And we have realized until unless we support our industries and primarily to MSME sector, then country cannot attain the status of self-reliance and Atmanirbhar. And when we talk about the GDP and employment, etc., everything can come up when we strengthen our defense manufacturing or manufacturing sector in India very strongly.
Mr.
We,
Gulshan, coming back
have
to
one
you,
very good example.
Yes, please go ahead.
We have one very good example, the development of drones now. Many startups, many small companies are being encouraged to manufacture or develop the technology and then manufacture if the systems are approved. Even the state governments, let's say the state government of Telangana, I was told recently at Aero India, that they're also encouraging their local industry. And drones are such small things, actually, they can be made very simply. And you need younger talent, with IT, etc. That is one part.
Yes.
Israel, I'm told, sells about $2 billion or $5 billion. I'm not right. I'm not sure the figure. It's either $2 or $5 billion only on cyber security products. And we have so much of talent in India which can develop these kind of things. And where if they are defense-related items, security is the fundamental, and whatever you make needs security. A system has to be secure. Now, when the youngsters come up and they're encouraged, as Dr. Dwivedi says, with funds and some bit of technology, we will be successful. But DRDO needs to be complemented is missile. Missiles you can fire, but you have to fire with precision technology. They have been very successful now in precision engagement of whatever target is intended by the armed forces. Am I right, Dr. Dwivedi, there? I'm asking you a question also like a journalist.
Sir, you are absolutely right. And let me tell you, in the recent past, if you see last 2 years or 3 years, the very high technologies DRDO has demonstrated, let it be HSTDV, let it be right from the beginning, from the Mission Shakti, and then man-portable anti-tank guided missile, NGNRM, Rudra missile system. So many things we have fired, and we have made our place in the Committee of Nations that yes, that DRDO and that India can do those impossible technologies too. Here I will also like to tell you, very rightly you have told about the drones. The drone technology, yes, this has come up so well within the industry, and today we find that the Indian industries are capable of doing any type of drone and very good quality and very good endurance. And that's how that DRDO has released 108 item list that DRDO will not do R&D in those areas where the drones, mini drones, and mini ROVs are mentioned along with the bridging system, etc. So many other things are there. 108 items are there. There we want, because we know the industries are so capable today in India, they can develop by themselves, they can design, develop, and manufacture. And that's how DRDO wants to come out of it. Our motto, our aim is whatever industries can do, we should not do it. So we use public money for the R&D in the niche areas where we can complement the industries. Where industries are already doing something, we should not dwell into those areas.
Mr. Dwivedi, one aspect we've spoken about, how the trust has helped us boost our domestic manufacturing, but at the same time, we still continue to be the second largest importer of arms in the world behind Saudi Arabia. So by when can that change to India becoming the global manufacturing hub? That, of course, with the help of DRDO, which plays a major role in that.
Yes, ma'am, very rightly you have told. As far as the trust between DRDO and industry is concerned, this is growing day by day, and this is the testimony is this, that today you find various systems are coming out of the private industries. Let it be multi-mode hand grenades, let it be ATACs, the artillery gun system, let it be Pinaka system, and like that there are various other systems, the big systems which are coming out of private industries. Even recently, that through-wall imaging radar has gone to some private industry, which is Mistral, Mistral Bangalore. So like that, the trust is being generated. And today, if you see the industries are queuing up to take the DRDO technology transfer, this shows they believe in us that our technologies are truly world class. And if they take it, those technology will be inducted into the armed forces and they will be able to export. A lot of export inquiries are there. So that's how the trust part is concerned. That is well taken care of, and we are mutually working together. And we believe that industries and DRDO, they can do things completely change so that this import, whatever India is second highest importer after Saudi Arabia, that situation will be changed. That we are working it out, and if you see whatever we have told initially, the 33% drop in the import has taken place. That is only has taken place because we in DRDO and along with the industry, we are working towards that. And that's how the import is being dropped continuously. And you will find within 5 years or maximum 7 to 8 years, the situation will be changed that we are the largest importer. We are inching towards going to be one of the biggest importer of the world. And I am very sure because the knowledge is there with us, the infrastructure is there with us, and the industries are fully geared up. They have got the complete confidence. We have got the synergy with the industries. Academic institutions are actively supporting us, and user is with us. So when we have got all the things clicking together, the day is not far when we will be reversing the situation from the largest importer to the largest importer.
Okay. Mr. Luthra, so towards reducing our dependency on arms imports, the Defense Ministry has set a very ambitious target that to bring down India's defense equipment import bill by $2 billion by next year, that's 2022. So towards achieving that target, what extra efforts are required so that we are able to, touch this deadline, achieve this target that we've set for ourselves?
Fundamentally, we have to develop our own technologies. And as Dr. Dwivedi just said, there is coordination between them, industry, academia, which is actually the parameter for developing systems in any developed country, whether it's USA or France or wherever. If we have that approach, I'm sure we'll be able to develop technologies. Now, once after that, we have developed technology, then we have to involve the EPSUs and to a larger extent the private industries, which are already in fact quite largely there. Say the Tatas and the yesterday there was a report from one of the companies. They have joined with Israeli technologies and so on. There is actually a target to produce indigenous to increase the indigenous component by $24 billion, or the value of the defense and aviation, or defense and aerospace production to the extent of $24 billion. Once you are doing it to that extent over the next 3 years, it is logical and possible to reduce the import bill by $2 billion. There is also an element of export of $2 billion. At least I'd heard this figure actually from Mr. Parikar when he was the defense minister. He had come and given a briefing to us in IDS where he said that $2 billion is the defense export bill effort at that time, which he had defined. So I'm sure with the intent of the government to integrate the institutions like DRDO, the local industry, academia and research with full encouragement, and initiative, I'm sure we can do that. And if we develop the systems indigenously, produce them indigenously, the import bill is bound to come down. And now the government has a negative list that we will not import this, we will not import this. And as I said earlier, for whatever we are buying now, there is a component of offset in technology import. You give us this technology, this much part we will make.
Certainly. So with that, I'll have to call it a wrap on this edition of Security Scan. Time is running out, so I'll have to stop the discussion at that. Thank you to both my guests for joining us on the program and sharing your thoughts with us on the subject. Pleasure having you on the show with us today. So that's it from us on Security Scan today. Thank you very much for your time.